Well, not card, but it's just the Elgato stuff. Where the fuck
Hey,
is it right?
Andrea just bought a new Elgato for her streaming setup.
Which one?
Nice.
The 60S or something.
Yep,
HD
that's what I
60.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
She had
it's a nice little dealio.
Yeah, she had the like original version of that, but there was like a huge delay between her
Yeah,
gameplay audio.
yeah.
EVGA
Honestly,
makes one that I want to check out.
I really want to. I might do this when I upgrade my computer with taxes.
Mm.
Um, I might get the 4K one for shits and
Ooh.
giggles, just to put it
Just so
in.
you can record in 4K.
Right?
Because you can't stream in 4K.
No, you can't.
Enjoy
But if
those
I
Because
record it,
file
YouTube,
if I record in
sizes.
4K, if I record in 4K and for like OLIP and we upload it to YouTube, it can display in 4K.
if you
Mhm.
record in
I-
4K, you're going to need a better GPU. Because even
Than
with
1080 Ti, I
yeah,
don't
because
think I would.
you would to record at 4K, you would. Because even with
Maybe on like ultra settings, sure. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure I could
no,
pull it off on
you
YouTube.
could record at like 30 FPS at some stuff. Like you could play games at 30 FPS and record at 30 FPS at 4K on like medium resolution with a 1080 Ti. But like you would need to upgrade
I'll
beyond
trust
that.
you on this just because I haven't actually looked into that. It's just something I'm spitballing in my brain.
I constantly am
And
looking at it because
I know you are. You
I'm
have a problem.
thirsty for a new GPU.
Tim, you're
You have a
obsessed.
problem.
You're
I don't
chasing
He
have
the
is.
a
He is
dragon.
problem.
obsessed. He is
No, because like
obsessed.
my CPU is good for years now. Like I don't have to worry about my CPU for a while.
I mean, that's
My
true.
my RAM is I might want faster RAM like a year or two down the line, but for now it's just dandy. 32 gigs at 3200 speed, CL14 is fine. Only thing I need is a faster GPU so that I can actually play some of these games at the fucking frame rate that I want to play them at.
Mm.
120.
Yeah, I have a 200 hertz monitor, but 120 is just fine for me.
Right.
I have no problem with that. So if I can get literally I'll take a 3060 Ti. I don't care what GPU it is. I just want a GPU. And I should have bought that 2080 when I had a chance in August, but I didn't because I'm like, ah, damn it, Sony, you scared the fuck out of me.
I do want to say, shout out to the Twitch viewers because we already have 5.
Hey
And that's,
y'all,
I feel like, good for us.
welcome.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Happy
Not bad at
Friday.
all.
So, yeah, happy Friday. As you can see, we're still arguing about technical nonsense mode, but
Yeah.
this is what we do. And for some reason,
mean,
you keep showing up.
We're
So thank
nerds.
you.
Despite
This
everything,
is the
we
point.
still have viewers.
We do. Oh man, look, y'all. It's been a crazy, crazy week. I tested negative for COVID, but I had to go through all that nonsense.
Woo!
So that was fun. I was sick as fuck this week. That
Yeah, you
was
were.
great. Yeah, they got to hear me sniffle over the mic the other day. My wife finally told me, I got some knockoff Sudafed in the cabinet. I was like, what the fuck? I've been doing this all
Holding out on
day,
you.
and you're just now telling me about this. So, yeah. So it's been a crazy week, but here we are. We made it. Tim, you want to
Yesterday,
tell us about your upgrades? Yeah.
well, I'm not gonna tell you about my upgrades yet. I'm gonna tell you guys that yesterday I got to shovel bird nests out of an attic.
Like
You
more
heard
than
that right?
one.
Yeah.
Like 8 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And there was a bunch of OSHA violations in the process.
No, I mean not a bunch,
Not
just
a bunch.
one repeatedly.
Hmm.
And also, Pixar didn't happen. You can't prove that. I don't have a video of what I was doing. Doesn't exist. But yeah, basically, I didn't get home till 8 o'clock last night.
Oh wow, that's a long one.
I got to work at 7, so it was a long day. So I need video games in my life. So today I upgraded my CPU so that my computer will run video games just a little bit better, and then I'll get a GPU so it'll run video games a lot better when I can get one. Found at least 18 different graphics cards. Sonny, what Best Buy you
Whoa.
work at? Sonny, wait, what graphics cards? Also, because there was a
Yeah.
5600 XT at Micro Center today, and I was like, oh,
Is that
Not
the one you
quite
wanted?
what you're looking for.
no, that's like
There's the XP that you want though, isn't
yeah,
there?
6800 XT is the one that I'm trying to get. But I would take like there's a 3090 there.
Oh my
Jesus.
goodness.
That's too much money.
That's too much
shocking.
money, but, like, that's exciting that they have it because, like, you can't find those things anywhere. They're unicorns. Like, 3080s are oh,
Now, if
like
I had my taxes back, it'd be a different conversation.
yeah, if I
Yeah.
hadn't just dropped $500 on a
Oh.
motherboard and CPU, I might show up at your work tomorrow, Sonny, but no. I got
He's
I gotta
like
wait.
he's like, "Wherever you live, I will drive there. Now,
Yep.
bye, guys."
I know
His
I
body is ready.
she lives around here.
Oh,
I
does
know
oh,
that
yeah, I
much.
It wouldn't be
forgot.
too
I
Yeah,
far.
forgot. I forgot
she's
she
a
was in the
local
state.
yokel.
Local yokel, I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Justin, what you been up to, man? Doesn't have to be games, just in general. Anything
Oh,
crazy? Got the new
man.
hairdo? Looking
I
good?
cut my hair. Yep. That happened yesterday. Been drinking tea, not as much as you, Cody, for sure, but
No.
enjoying some nice peppermint tea. Um Oh yeah, I did a recording for that The Longest Johns. They're doing like this project where they get everyone to like record themselves singing parts to a sea shanty, and they're gonna edit them all together, and it just have this like crazy huge sea shanty sing along. So I did that. That was
Oh,
cool.
I didn't
I
know
didn't
anything about that. What are you
I
talking about?
Googled
I'll
it.
send you a
Tell me
link.
more.
Yeah. So The
I
Longest
mean, I'm not gonna
Johns,
record anything, but
they
I mean,
I might.
they're this group that is most well known for like sea shanties. They're like
right.
pentatonics but sea shanties, right?
They're a
Um
quartet.
they recently have been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, so I started following their content. And yeah, they did this before where they just like have people send in video recordings of them singing parts to what they do last time? Johnny Lever. I don't know. Some other sea shanty. Now they're doing Wellerman because that's the most popular sea shanty on earth now. Everybody's getting into sea shanties. And yeah, it's just this big, probably going to be like a world record video project that they're doing. It's kind of fun.
It's just this big world record it's just a big thing. No
It's a
big
big deal,
deal.
but no big deal.
Exactly.
That's
Uh,
cool.
well,
I like how you mentioned The Longest Johns and John shows up in chat.
My man, Leave for Johnny.
hey, there
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
what I thought it was.
Yeah. Um, well, I think I know what we've all been playing recently,
Oh
as
no.
have like over 1 million people.
So
One of the
many.
most popular games on Twitch right now, and it's Valheim.
Valheim.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude.
Did not
That game
expect it to
is so
be
much fun.
so big. Like we just kind of
Addicting.
Yeah.
got into it without really looking at it. And then suddenly I look at like Twitch and it's like top 10 Twitch games. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and I didn't know that until you said something in our chat. And then with it, I think it was a couple days ago, they posted, they were like, hey, in the first week we sold over 1 million copies. I was like, holy fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
they're
I didn't
just a
realize it
small
went
indie
that bad.
studio too.
Right. And it's just crazy. And the way, for anybody who hasn't played it, right? The way I've been describing it to people is like, imagine Minecraft and Skyrim had a weird baby that had a really like big fascination with Dark Souls combat. And that's kind of what it is. The world's gigantic.
Throw a
And I
little
was
bit of
like,
rust in there.
yeah, a little. Well, I think that, you know what? I think there's less rust in there. Because did you guys notice the ward that you can build
Yes. The one that
after going
keeps
stuff?
other
Yeah,
players from doing stuff
yeah.
with your
So you can build it.
Yeah.
runes.
You can build a ward so they can't touch your shit, which I think is something that's missing in Rust. I haven't played Rust in a long time. I played it when it first came out.
Do you guys want to hear a real quick mind blown thing? Because I was like, it's a small indie studio, right?
Yeah, it's like 5 people.
Well, here's the publisher though is Coffee Stain. Coffee Stain Publishing also has published Deep Rock Galactic,
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Satisfactory,
Oh.
Goat Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys have heard of a story about my uncle. It's like a little first-person parkour puzzle game.
Mm-mm.
Sanctum 2, like nothing but very positively reviewed games on Steam.
Wow. Deep Rock, man. Mm.
And they have a game that's in development called Midnight Ghost Hunt, which
Well, that'll probably be good too. It sounds like a Phasmophobia type game.
Yeah, but when you look at it, it doesn't look anything like Phasmophobia. It looks cool, but not like Phasmophobia. So that's interesting.
New publisher to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah. It's just I don't know. But Valheim, look, it's $20. It could be $60. I don't think anybody can complain. If I'm being honest, at
Yeah,
this
I'd pay
point,
$60 for it. It's good. I mean, I'm
it
glad it's not
it's
$60 because it's not
so
a $60 game in its current state, but it's
right.
damn good.
So a couple things that I noticed. So I went back actually last night because I stopped. I played until 5 a.m. I
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
stop.
It's hard to
Just
quit.
kept
It's so
playing
addicting.
So
because there's always that one. There's always one more thing to do.
I thank God for my gaming laptop because I literally like while I was working, I was doing routing and stuff. But like in between doing routing, I would just be like tabbed out in Valheim in a single player save and just be like, "All right, time to get back in it."
It was I don't know, but I went back. So after I played until 5 a.m., I still wanted to play. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go watch the. I'm gonna go watch the trailers because I didn't even really watch the trailer before I bought it. I was like, oh, a Norse game.
Right.
I normally just buy Norse games
Yeah.
in general because I like Viking games, and so I just kind of bought it. I went back and I watched the trailer. There's supposed to be like goblins in this shit. It looks
Yeah, I
like
saw
there's
that.
like giants. There is sea serpents. Like
We're
there's
just
so much more
toes
to
in the
the game,
water.
right? And like I think where we're at right now, we just started building bronze stuff,
Just
right? And that took a
babies.
while, right? It's so early in the game.
Yeah.
There's I didn't realize it when I first started playing it. When you go to the map, you can scroll back and zoom out. It's fucking huge. It's a whole planet. It's literally a planet in space. And so I don't know. There's just so much. There's so much. It's just like I just can't. It's almost hard to wrap your head around, right?
It's
I
a
don't
whole
know.
planet in space as opposed to anywhere else you would find a
Uh,
planet.
Hey, look, normally maps aren't that big, especially
No.
procedurally generated
it
maps,
looks
right?
huge, man. It looks
Yeah,
fucking
it's huge.
huge.
Well, so I
It
have 20.
explains the PS2 era graphics.
Well, it
I
does.
I think one thing that I'm fascinated with by Valheim is just if you zoom in on the character models or the trees or the vegetation, none of the objects in the game look good, but you zoom out and with the lighting effects in the game, and I ranted about this on stream the other day, it looks so good. And there's no ray tracing in it. They did all of that without ray tracing. They didn't
Mhm.
fucking
Right.
need it. Just with the way that they did the volumetric lighting and the way that they have the water reflect. I think I literally said this is PS2 level graphics, but that's next gen water right there.
Oh yeah, the water. I
Oh
think that
It's
was
man.
one of the first
so
things.
good.
I think when I previewed it to y'all, so y'all could see on Discord, I think I
Yep.
told you that the water is fucking amazing. It's
Mhm.
one of the best things. That was one of the first things I complimented it on. And then you guys were like, "Oh, it didn't look great on stream." And then you got in the game and you're like, "Holy shit! Like this water is it is next gen type water. It's the type of water you'd like to see in Skyrim, right? That where modders have tried to give you that
Mhm.
4K texture stuff in Skyrim, and they just can't. I mean, it looks great in still pictures, but you start playing and it doesn't always look great.
Yeah,
So
the
I
water
don't know.
simulation is really good. It's not Sea of Thieves, but it's like
Right,
way above a lot of other games because it
right,
actually like the weather changes and the water will start having like big ass waves and shit, and it all looks
eh,
right.
right. And can you get wet while on the raft?
Yes.
Because I remember
I think
when we were going through the waves, right?
Yeah,
And the wave was kind of actually going over
going
the
yeah.
raft. Couldn't
it
remember if it
seemed
gave
like
you a wet effect.
I don't know this, but it seemed like the other day maybe I was just getting hit with big waves, but it seemed like do the tides rise and fall in that game? Or am I
I don't think
nuts?
they do now, but I think they're planned to because I was looking at their roadmap, right?
Okay.
And the third stage of the roadmap is supposed to be about the seas and just like sailing and stuff like that. But
That's
there's
amazing.
also another added thing where it's about the cycle of the moon.
Ooh.
And that wasn't on the actual roadmap. That was on the if Odin wills it
Oh,
portion,
yeah.
which is underneath that. So that's like an extra type thing. But I think that they've gotten enough support at this point that it might not happen within the next year or so, but, maybe, a little bit after that, they'll be able to add some of that stuff in. 'Cause, shit, this game, bruh,
Right. This
there's
is
not
one
a
of
whole lot of
those
games that capture attention like this.
this is the style of game too that they can definitely support for years and years to come. You look at
Right,
Ark, you look at Rust, these are games that are very
right.
long term.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of the I think it's the only survival game that I've jumped into, and I've played a bunch. I was actually playing Conan when I bought this one,
Oh yeah.
Conan Exiles. I was playing Conan to give to you know, 'cause my cousin has a server and stuff like that, so I was starting to get into that. But Valheim is just totally took my attention away. I haven't played anything else recently other than Madden because 'cause I'm in a actual, like, league with some other guys, but it's,
It's
it's
the
wild.
perfect storm of like
Right.
it's very accessible and it's not punishing and the atmosphere is so just pleasant to be in that
Oh
you
my
just
god,
want to
the
keep
Music.
playing.
the music. It's
Um,
so good.
I just had a horrible thought, a terrible, horrible thought, but it's
Don't
also a
jinx
great
it!
thought. No. But
This
what
better
I'm gonna
not be
say
like
is
Cyberpunk,
no.
Sim.
It's not like
That's
that.
right.
I'm not making a call that's gonna curse the game. Not like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But Valheim and Rust, Daisy, and these survival-based games, looter shooters are trying to do the whole live service thing. These games actually do it, and when we say, "Oh, what live service games have actually worked?" Survival games. So I almost feel like as good as Valheim is, as much as I love it, as much as I want it to succeed and thrill, I feel like it is an example that EA or, Take-Two can point to and go, "There's an example of a live service game working. We just need to do that." And then they're gonna do something horrible and terrible that's gonna make me hate my life.
Right, but the problem is, I feel like, is that they look at even at let's say they took Valheim as an example, right? Where they always slip up is they always add in gotcha mechanics of some kind with
Yeah.
the loot boxes or something like that, and that I feel like is a bigger downfall than it is to, in this case, pay $20 for a game, and then you have the game, and you're buying it in early access, so you know you're getting more content, but you don't you made your investment and that's it. And I think that's a problem with those EA and Take-Two or whoever. They wanna continue to funnel money out of the game as the lifespan of the game
That's
continues.
what expansions are for, like in Ark.
Right. I mean, that's a good point, and I think with the feedback the game's gotten, we'll eventually see expansions,
Yeah.
outside of their roadmap. So I don't know. It's super exciting. Justin, I saw you were about to say something, and I started talking.
Yeah, I wouldn't even I don't know if I would consider it to be a live game in the same sense. Like I would never compare it to like Destiny, right?
What do you think that's because of, like, it's not like a looter shooter, right? It's not based on gear, right? Everybody gets
Yeah, it
the
just
same
feels like
item.
it's such a different genre to me. Like obviously they have their roadmap and they're going to be
Right.
pushing out updates, but it's not a game where it's like drop based, you know?
It doesn't necessarily have to be though, because like Ark's not drop based either. But
Mhm.
Ark is still very
I
much a
wouldn't
live service game because the term live service, we like to think of it as looter shooter because that's where you hear it all the time. But what that term is supposed to mean, and good timing because Alan just asked this in chat too. What that's supposed to mean is a game that you're going to continue to support for 5 to 10 years with continued expansions and updates to keep people hooked and there. It's a live service game as in you're going to keep it live for a significant amount of time with more content coming. So like survival games have done that successfully, and I don't know that Valheim will do that. I might be totally off base, but it feels like it could. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense if you define it that way. I'm sure that if it succeeds, it will have future expansions rather than monetizing in weird ways like cosmetics and shit.
I mean, I don't think cosmetics would get you very far in a game like Valheim. Because no offense, but, we talked about it, PS2-esque graphics on the player models. Now cosmetics on them shields, though. You could if you could, because I don't know, once again, I watched the trailer. The shields are painted
Oh yeah,
in the
this is
trailer.
something that I didn't realize, but when you go to build the shield, there are different
Mhm.
styles that you can select.
Oh,
Really?
fuck, I didn't know
Mhm.
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yep.
Well, I need to make a new shield, it sounds
Does
like.
that
Yep.
go for the round shield and the tower shield?
Yep.
Oh
They have
shit.
like 5 or 6 different color patterns, I think.
I gotta make me a new shield, boys.
I know.
I know,
I
mine's
got my
already
level
upgraded to level
3.
3.
Yeah. Ugh, crap.
It's alright, it's not that big a deal. Anyways, all right, we all love Valheim. I think we could move on from that. Another game that Tim in particularly loved was the Shadow of Mordor series, um, and we kind of had differing opinions about this before the show, but WB has finally successfully patented Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system. I
Good
thought
for
this was
them.
good for WB, right? I was like, hey, good job. But Tim, what was your thoughts on it?
I think it sucks because now if you wanted to put a Shadow of War style like Nemesis system in your game, something similar to the Nemesis system, you run the risk of being sued. Now, nobody's really done it, and that they've had the ability to over the last few years, but it just kind of sucks because let's say WB just sits on it and doesn't continue to put it in games, nobody can, and it's a really good system. I really enjoy it. So
Yeah, I feel like it's a situation where it's kind of like when some company goes to make a new video game and they have to decide, are we going to build our engine from the ground up, or are we going to license an engine to build the game around? It's cool that they patented this system, but we see time and again developers want to just make their own brand new shit and disregard whatever's out there because they don't want to pay licensing fees. So it would be really cool to see someone just like license their system and use it in their games. Because I mean, I think this is a system that you could really adapt to any open world game or genre kind of or series.
Bruh, could you imagine it in Valheim?
Oh my god.
this
Oh,
one particular troll comes back
right.
with
No,
a metal
how about
face.
just
Yeah.
how about just a little grayling? Little grayling keeps coming back over and over again.
Just
And shit talks you every time.
more metal patches on him from where he had
Uh,
to put his arm back on.
right. Oh my god. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought. I was
Yeah. So it's like it's cool. It would be cool if developers regularly license things from other developers to use, but they just don't.
right.
Yeah.
I agree with that because I think it would really cut down on like development time, right?
Yeah.
And it's also a like if it ain't broke, don't fix it type deal. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I can understand that. I think where maybe the problem runs into is like maybe they're just like a single version. So like maybe you only like the Nemesis system out of the entire engine. I don't know because I'm not a game developer. I don't know if you can just take if you can separate that from whatever and maybe like and try and like mash it in with whatever else you're trying to make. You know what I
Well,
mean?
and the
Are
other
you
problem
limited by
is
that engine? You know, I don't know.
I would assume that you would be because if they've patented this mechanic that's built into this specific game engine, you would have to completely recreate it inside of a different engine, which I don't know that you can license it for complete recreation. You can probably only license the engine. But that I don't know how that works exactly.
No either.
That's a guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I just because then I see the other problem is like let's say you want to take the Nemesis system, and then you want to take I don't know Halo Combat. You know what I mean? And you want to put them together. Like how many bugs does that make? You know, like how many issues does that it create just trying to get those things to work together, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they weren't originally made for each other. But once again, I'm just spitballing. I'm just playing a little bit devil's advocate. I do think this is good for WB because I think before the show we were talking about um uh we could only name one game off the top of our heads that had used it and it was a like a light version of it and that was Assassin's Creed Odyssey
Right.
with the
Their
mercenary
version
system.
of it. Yeah.
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 So I think over 7 years since both those games have come out, I don't think it's as much as we as the consumers seem to like it. I don't think it's very popular. Maybe inside the industry, maybe it's just difficult to work with.
I
You know what
mean,
I mean?
it is a completely RNG based system, so there's a lot you what a lot of people don't realize is for RNG to work well,
Right.
there's a lot you actually have to do to restrict it. Otherwise, can you imagine like a procedurally generated map like Valheim if they just let RNG run amok and
Right.
Oh,
it was actually completely random because
you mean like No Man's Sky when it first came out?
well,
Pretty.
even that was like somewhat restricted because otherwise you could have just it would be a complete mess. It could
Right.
be just a complete
Well, they
disaster.
made there was some weird shit that came out when No Man's Sky first came out. They'd be like, "What the
That's
fuck is this?"
true.
And just some, like, weird
I took a
airbrush
picture of the
monster.
space sperm. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
procedural generation's tricky. That's like in due process, they have a tool that procedurally generates their maps, but they can't
right,
just put them out because there's always like something wrong, like
right,
their doors will be like backwards or in walls that don't lead to anything, so they have to go in and kind of like fine tune everything.
right.
I haven't played it, but I'm intrigued because have you guys heard of the studio Massive Damage?
No?
Yes.
They did a game that came out last year that I've seen a few times that I haven't really checked out called Star Renegades that apparently has their own version of a nemesis system in the game.
Oh.
I don't know what that means. I just found a
You just
article
showed me.
on Gama Sutra, good name for a website, that says that. So
Yeah, no, I feel like it's more niche than what we
it
think it
is.
should be.
I
'Cause
agree.
could you imagine that? And, like, let's say the new open world Halo, they had a nemesis system.
Right. Yeah.
You
I
know what I
think that'd
mean?
be
That would be
great.
great. That'd be so cool to
It
have
gives
fucking
your
Craig keep coming back.
yeah.
You know you know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
It gives
or
your
the oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it gives your playthrough that much more meaning. Like this goes from being a
right,
random NPC that you killed to you actually forming a bond with this enemy.
right.
Yeah. I was gonna
I
say, like, in The Witcher, if, like, the monsters, if they came back and adapted to you and, like,
right,
that would be amazing.
Hmm.
But here's the thing, though, we're at a point where now companies are gonna have to pay Warner Brothers to get that, so it's like but also, no one was doing it before when they didn't have to pay, so, like Justin
Yeah.
said,
right.
maybe it's not as big a deal as I think it should be, but, oh, it's such a
I
cool
think, like,
mechanic.
Yeah.
we as a consumers really like it.
Yeah.
I bet it's just a fucking pain in the ass, and that's why we don't see it more often.
Mm.
That's the only thing I can think of why, because it just adds more flavor to the game, right? And it
Yeah.
just gives each game it's in, it just gives more replayability. So,
Hmm.
I don't know. But let's move on because obviously we all love the Nemesis system. Um, something that finally came out was, there's some video of Super Nintendo World's Mario Kart ride, and it's like being there.
It looks
Uh
so fun.
yeah. So I actually just happened to come across this outside of this article that you have, Justin, um, of somebody going around the new Nintendo World, and it's super cool. Obviously, it's super expensive because it's basically Disney version of Mario, right? You know what I mean? When you go
Yeah.
to like Disneyland or Disney World or whatever, but you can run around, you can punch like the block. So you get one of those back in us 90 kids will know those like snap-on wristbands, right? You like slap it on and it goes on. And you can buy it in Yoshi and Toad and Mario, Luigi, etc., etc. And you can punch like the little coin blocks and like the brick blocks or whatever, and you get coins from it. And there's a little app that it connects to, and there's like a leaderboard for who's collected the most coins for the day, etc., etc. It's they've done really good with the concept. I really like the wristband idea. I think it's great what they did with it because
Yeah.
it's a collectible and it's functional, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
It sounds kind
I
of
don't know.
like what they did with the Star Wars version of this where there's like the phone app and you kind of like go to certain things and like register that you're near it using like
Oh,
NFC or whatever.
right,
So it reminded me of that, but Nintendo version of it. I
right.
do think it's cool too. Is the wrist straps? They use NFC to connect with everything. So I'm curious if anyone goes there and like gets one, if you can like use it on Nintendo games that use amiibos, because that's the same thing
Mm.
amiibos use. So I'm wondering if there's like some little special hidden things you could get with that.
I bet you there
That'd
is.
be pretty cool.
Knowing Nintendo, I bet you there might be for like Mario
Mm-hmm.
specifically or Luigi, like their more popular characters. But yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. It looks like it would be a cool place to visit, if you're ever in Japan, right? Because
Yeah. I
you got to be Japan.
I would definitely be more interested to go to this than like Disney World personally.
I'll tell you what. I'm not a huge fan of like Disney World and Disneyland, but we went to my wife and I when I came back from Afghanistan. We went to Universal to the Harry Potter
Ooh.
area. That was fucking awesome. for somebody who grew up with that, right? And I think I think it's more in that vein of like I grew up with Mario, so I'd probably enjoy it more.
Hmm.
Um, grew up with Harry Potter, so I really enjoyed that whole deal going down Diagon Alley and all that kind of stuff. It was super. It was just cool
Yeah.
to see that stuff kind of come to life. So,
Yeah.
Tim, do you have any thoughts on Nintendo World, or are you just kind of like that's cool,
I,
bruh?
I think it's you know, the video of the ride and all that. It's a really cool use of AR, and I wish that there was more kind of going on with that. Or AR is not really the right word, but you know what I mean. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
That near field technology.
yeah, like it's really cool, and I think it's in a pandemic we need more of that because like
Yeah.
obviously nobody from the United States is going to Japan to experience this right now.
right.
So this is like the closest we could, and um, I think that's pretty neat.
Hey, hey.
Hey,
What if they do a Pokemon World and do AR Pokemon
how
battles?
how have they
I
not?
bet that exists.
No brainer.
Well, you saw. I don't know if you guys saw. I'm way off track right here, but do you guys remember seeing the Google Glass and like the Windows glasses or whatever, where there was people developing stuff for Pokemon right when Pokemon Go was at its height
Yeah.
or whatever? They had like Charmander and Pikachu, and you could like throw Pokeballs at them and all this other stuff. I really wanted that technology to develop. I was like, I
I
would
know.
at however old I was at the time. I was like, I will go around the world and become a Pokemon master with this shit.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the dream.
Oh man. But yeah. Oh, what could have been,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And now
Augmented
I have something else.
reality.
Yeah. I have something
Another
else to yell about other than the Pokemon Treasure Card game not being on the phone that
yeah,
was on the phone.
now that we found that out, yeah. Oh man.
Oh, man. Question for you guys. I think we're all fairly, I don't think we're huge Borderlands fans, but I think we're
Yeah,
all pretty we enjoy the games.
they're good.
Um, what do you guys think about Jack Black being the voice of Claptrap?
It hits
Oof.
weird, man. It hits weird.
It's just like Claptrap. Even in Borderlands 3 when they replaced his voice actor, it still sounded like Claptrap. Still sounded the same.
Right.
So Claptrap now sounding like Jack Black. Uh, I love Claptrap. I love Jack Black, but that's like I love vanilla ice cream. I love cheeseburgers, but don't put vanilla ice cream on my cheeseburger. Like I'm just
How do you
don't.
know? Have you tried it?
I mean, I have had a vanilla shake with a cheeseburger, which was good.
But
One more
it's not.
step to take.
Yeah, all you had to do was put some of that vanilla shake on the
Mm.
cheeseburger, Tim.
Uh,
I just want you to understand, people have weird tastes. We had a special at my job a couple months ago that was a peanut butter and jelly hamburger,
Hmm.
and it was super popular,
Oh
and it
wow.
wasn't just, like, where I like, kinda looked into it afterwards. It's not just where I work, like, it's an actual, like, popular dish for hamburgers now. Super weird, I don't ever want it in my mouth. People are weird, and they want it in their mouth, so I don't know.
Clip that.
uh,
Somebody clip that.
praise him,
People
dude.
are weird and they want it in their mouth.
Oh
Cody,
man.
2021.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't wanna hear anything from the dude who's calling Elon Musk daddy.
I am totally clipping that though.
That
Just
was
that
very
short
good.
clip, and I'm putting it on Twitter.
Hmm.
So yeah, Jack Black, I think that he can play the Claptrap character. I could see him playing the character. It's just his voice. If they can like alter his voice in such a way that it sounds right, it could work. But the way his voice sounds naturally, I don't know.
If you're gonna alter his voice to sound like Claptrap, why would you use Jack Black though? That's the thing for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Because I
Like
think it
you're gonna let Jack Black be Jack Black, otherwise you don't hire him.
I mean, you can still be yourself and have your voice altered. Look at the music industry, man. Look at all the money people have made off of auto-tune or audio tune, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Uh
You can't
Audio
tell me
audio.
yeah, I don't know. I don't
You
know.
had it right,
uh,
and then you had to keep going.
Anyways, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like you lose the personality necessarily just because the voice changed a little bit, right? You know what I mean? In some cases, you know, using the music industry as an example, it makes it more popular, and it makes it, and people like more love it. So I don't know. It's weird for me. I like Jack Black. I like to watch his YouTube videos because they're just fucking off the wall and
He's
weird.
hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
Like,
just,
I love watching him watch interviews that he clearly is not taking seriously, but he's giving, like, half serious answers and doing the eyebrow thing and, like, just
yeah,
being Jack Black, and I fucking
yeah,
love him.
True
yeah.
entertainer.
He's
Yeah.
great.
Generally, video game movies suck. So
True.
Fair.
not about to
Other
get
than,
excited about this one.
other than Detective Pikachu, I think that's the only good. Well, and
Detective
Sonic,
Pikachu is good. Sonic was really good.
right?
Everything else is
Pichachu?
debatable.
I'm rubbing off on you guys
Yep.
about not being able to speak English. Hey, well, something else that's weird. And speaking of Pikachu, did y'all ever think Post Malone was going to do a virtual Pokemon concert?
Why?
God no.
If
Whose idea
I'm
was
gonna
this?
put it, so anybody watching the live stream, I'm gonna put the video in the chat, and you take 30 seconds of your life that you'll never get back. You watch this, and then you report back to us, please, because why can't I copy this link?
Well, Tim,
I don't know.
have you
watching
tried
the
turning it
show,
off
bro.
and back on again? It is really funny seeing him like tool around on the dock and just struggle.
I can't. It won't let me. It won't let me highlight it.
Right click,
It's in the
give up.
chat, Tim.
copy link
Tim,
give up.
URL.
Anyway, just Google it real quick. Google Pokemon Post Malone,
So
and you'll
this
see
could
why we're
be
confused.
this could be the beginning of something great for Post Malone. He could dip into other video games. I think the next one he should do is a collaboration with Bannerlord because he actually has a tattoo of some of the key art from Mountain Blade Warband on his arm.
Does he really?
He
I didn't know
does.
that.
I don't think
I-
that he knows
cool
it's
shit.
from that. It's one of those things from Mountain Blade, the art that you see that's
Right.
literally everywhere because it's just
Right.
good by
Right.
that dude Ganbat who worked on the game
Yeah.
art.
Right.
He does have, if you haven't seen it, like he has a gaming rig and he plays video games.
He could
Like,
very
he
well
had-
be a fan.
He could.
Yeah.
I don't know that he is, but like I know Jay's 2 Cents is a YouTuber who does a lot of tech content that
Right.
he has also built Terry Cruz's PC for him. He helped Post Malone build his. If you haven't seen that by now, like probably watch that. It's pretty
Was
funny.
it
It's pretty
Logic?
entertaining.
Was Logic the one who retired
To stream
to stream?
and then is still doing music? Yeah. He retired from
on-
making music to stream, but he still makes
But
music.
you want to know what?
Oh,
He
yeah.
loves Pokemon. I think it would have been cooler if Logic. No offense to Post Malone, right? Hey, it's cool that you're dipping into that like genre of stuff because I feel like it's outside what he normally does. But Logic is very open with how big of a fucking nerd he is. I don't
Mm.
know if Post Malone is. I don't follow these guys like that.
Right.
They're not football
Yeah, I
players.
don't
I
know.
don't care. So, so I mean, that's just kind of I don't know. But anyways, yeah, we're just weird things happening. Jack Black and Post Malone, and then we're just gonna continue this weird trend because G4 is trying to make a comeback, and they had an esports show. I'll save my opinion because I think I've
Okay.
already kind of given it away.
Oh
Justin, what
man.
did you think about their esports show?
So specifically their esports show, I liked it because it felt like G4 never ended. It's got that same kind of stupid humor that show had, transported all these years later, right now into 2021. And I can kind of appreciate that. What I can't appreciate is their bad microphone quality and the fact that they have created a new YouTube channel for each of their different G4 shows. So there's an X-Play one,
What?
there's this
Oh,
esports one, there's an
Yeah.
Attack of the Show one. It sounds like they're going to try to have a actual cable TV show. I have no idea what the fuck they're doing. But yeah, it was interesting to see that. Didn't like it as much as anything Adam Sessler does, because, I love Adam Sessler and I will forever be a fan of his whatever he's doing. But it was very interesting to see their take on an esports show.
Tim, I don't know if did you finish it before the podcast started? I know
No,
you're watching it.
no, but I watched it earlier too. I didn't finish it either
Oh.
time.
Hold on, wait. You had enough oomph to try and watch it again? Because
Yeah.
one time was enough for me.
Yeah. I tried to watch it twice. I didn't go through it either time. It was intentionally cringy. And, like, I get that that was the vibe they were going for. I understand because esports is a meme, like, it is, and they were memeing it up. I get that. But it also was like, damn, like, G4 was, like, the one channel back in the day that gave video games and kind of this whole creative space any sort of, like, legitimacy, like, we there actually was a network that aired video game related content on regular cable television. It and this was not that. This was not that at all. This was, like Justin said, it was a lot of the same humor. Appreciated that. The intentionally cringy bad production quality, yeah, I'm good.
It's
I
almost like
love G4 and I'm glad they're back, but damn, that was hard to watch.
it's almost like there's not a place for G4 anymore, you know? I mean,
Well,
Twitch is the legitimate place to watch video game stuff now, or YouTube.
I mean, it is.
Twitch
I
or
think
There's so
YouTube
many
or
channels already.
I mean,
I don't
they ESPN airs fucking Dota tournaments.
right. So, and this was my problem with the whole thing because that fucking esports show sucked. It was garbage. I was playing Valheim while listening to it, and the whole time I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is this? Like, why?
Yeah.
Because there's so many examples of other. This is once again, I feel like we talk about this a lot. There are so many examples, ESPN or Twitch that do this properly, right?
I
With
don't think ESPN does it properly, but your point is valid.
right, like, they air the Dota tournaments, right? You know what I mean? All you have to do is air a Dota tournament and have some fucking legitimate commentary, and people are gonna watch. This isn't hard. You don't have to have some intentionally cringy show. I guess my thing is, if their thought process was the same shit we did 20 years ago, or however fucking long it's been that since they've been out, is still gonna hold up in 2021 with our older audience now, right? They're kinda wrong. At least I feel like they're wrong.
I
You know, Tim
we feel
pointed
like
out the like-dislike ratio of the YouTube, you know what I mean? And it was
yeah,
1,000 likes, like 74 dislikes. Alright,
like
cool.
we
I don't
definitely think
know.
they're wrong, but the 11,000 views that they have on a video, well, that's actually not that many. For a video that came out on the 5th. It's been out a week, so it's not like it's taken off. But they have one for that 11,000 views, they're getting about a 10% like ratio, which is good. Like 10% of the people watching that video are actually clicking on the thumbs up, which is pretty high. And their like to dislike ratio is 1100 to 74 overall dislikes. So,
I just
like, we're in the minority here, but we don't get why.
right, I don't know. I feel like when you take a break that long, right, and then you plan on coming back, why not wild idea? Just get some focus groups together and be like, "What do you all like?" You know what I mean? And take that chance to evolve, right? Because the expectation is already 0. You've been gone so long, right? There's no real expectation. Everybody's like, "Oh, cool, G4 is coming back," but there's no real expectation. And then to come out with 20-year-old jokes or however long it's once again, I don't remember how long it's been. It's been a while. Come out with that, I don't wanna watch anymore. I don't really wanna watch anything. I don't know. It seemed like a bad improv sketch is what it seemed like, right? And I don't
Yeah, the thing to
know.
me that was appealing about that whole channel was I like the stupid humor, but there was also actual content.
Right,
So if they can, put real content into the
right,
stupid humor, I'm back.
right.
But so
You're gonna have
far,
to go
it's
back
just
of the
been,
show for that.
yeah. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
true.
G4 was kind of, X-Play still held up, but the other shows were definitely all over the place.
I mean, even if they brought back remember they had that one show and all it was video game previews for like a half hour or an hour. I would appreciate that more than that
I'd watch
nonsense they
that.
put out on that. You know what I mean? Like, there I would be like, "Cool." Like, I could just put this on, even if it's background noise and anything that kinda catches my eye on my monitor, I just watch it for 30 seconds to a minute, and I keep going back to doing what I'm doing. You're gonna get more views out of me for that than cringy improv.
Yeah.
Like, I don't they had good ideas back in the day, but once again, it's been a while, just evolve a little bit. I don't understand.
Yeah,
It
we'll
doesn't make
see
sense.
if this is just like them kind of trying to do some weird thing to get attention and they're going to have actual content, or if this
Right.
is all they have to offer.
Right.
We'll find
Yeah.
out.
We will as we go along here. Um. Oof. Oof. We think we got enough time to knock out these last three? Because I
Yeah,
feel
let's
Yeah.
like this
just
next one.
knock them out.
All right. Hey, our game's worth $70. Yes or no?
Yes.
Some of them, but generally, I think most games that are actually going to ask you for $70 are not. But there are some games that definitely are.
I think I agree with
Yes,
Tim.
to cover the price of inflation in particular,
Right.
which,
Right.
we're going to have to bump up that minimum wage as well to try to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. I totally agree with the inflation thing because it went to $60. I don't know, fucking that was a long time ago. I
Yeah.
remember that when I was like 10 or 12. I'm about to be 30. Tim is 30. I don't know. So,
Like my examples are like, if The Witcher 3 came out today, it would be worth $70. If AC Odyssey came out today, it would be worth $70 to me because I put so much time into it. Is Madden worth $70? Fuck no. Is 2K worth $70? Fuck
Mm,
no. So
yeah.
like the games that are actually asking you for $70 today are not. But the games that you're gonna sink an ass load of time into, if you put over 100 hours in a game, it's worth $70.
Yeah. Agree. Agree with those points. All right. Next thing. Tencent buys a minority stake in Bohemian Interactive. Thoughts?
I think it's a bigger deal to me than it is you guys because I put much more time into Arma.
Yeah.
But, um, what's the game that Bohemia? Are they part of? Hang on.
They made Arma
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
made
made it.
and Arma
and
Yep.
2,
and then Daisy,
and then
Arma
also
3.
Arma 3.
But are they involved in Digger or Vigor? I mean, Vigor at all?
I don't
Never
think
heard of
so.
it.
I don't think they are.
Okay.
If they
Well,
are, it wouldn't surprise me because it's a shitty console port. I've tried it.
yeah, no, they published Vigor in
Okay, well,
2019.
there you
They
go.
published Vigor.
Hi,
So they
Ben.
published the competitor, their own fucking product in Daisy. But yeah, it's not a huge deal because it's not like Bohemia is a huge company, but like their niche has been Milsim. So for Milsim players, it probably won't really affect the course because it's like a 10% stake. So it's not a huge deal, but it's noteworthy because it will affect their direction in some way or another.
Hmm.
Justin, you have any thoughts?
Nah, dude, I don't play those games.
Okay. All right. This gives me a couple minutes to go into what I wanted to talk about. I don't think people in the West, I was talking about this before the show started, understand exactly how large Tencent is, right? So I know I've talked about this off air a lot because I own 10-cent stock because it was selling for under $100 and I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. Just I just want to put in perspective how fucking big this company is. Tencent is the world's largest game publisher.
Yep.
It is also it is both an internet and entertainment giant in China. This is coming from PC Gamer, by the way. There's an article off PC Gamer. It is the equivalent of Facebook or Google in China, right? It has over 300 investments in its portfolio, most of them being gaming studios. Some of these gaming studios that they own all of Riot Games, aka the makers of League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
They own 40% of Epic.
Mm-hmm.
They own 11.5% of Bluehole, who makes PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds these days.
Yep.
5% of Ubisoft. Oh, did I miss one? Nope. 5% of Blizzard, Activision Blizzard. 80% of Grinding Gear Games, aka maker of Path of Exile.
Oh.
Other investments worth noting: Supercell, 84.3%. What the fuck did they make? Oh, games like Clash of Clans.
Yep.
Oh.
No, Tencent is huge in the mobile
It's
space, which
fucking.
makes a ton of
They
sense.
own 5% of Paradox.
Yeah.
Isn't that the company that owns TikTok as well?
Who?
Tencent?
Tencent? I think so. Actually, I
They've
think
got
Do they?
Tencent
WeChat
bought
and
50%
TikTok,
of
I believe.
Microsoft. I think.
Does Tencent?
They own 36% of Fat Shark, which made Warhammer Vermintides 2.
Oh, wow.
They own 29% of fucking Funcom.
Damn,
who
dude.
made Conan
Funcom's
Exile.
huge.
I don't think people understand how big fucking Tencent is.
Definitely
It is
not.
absolutely gigantic. So the fact that they bought a stake in Bohemia is kind of a big deal, right? Um, because I mean that's their gig, right? They buy these things. But I remember a few years ago, like when I was in Kuwait, there was talk about Tencent doing a hostile takeover of Ubisoft. Uh, so, but they have the money to do it. That's the thing. So any any company that they have a stake in, I feel like it makes them vulnerable to eventually just be completely owned by Tencent because none of these companies are going to be able to fight with Tencent
Well,
and their.
how much is their stake in Blizzard? Did you say 5%?
It was only 5%.
And look at
I,
what Blizzard did to appeal to China and the Chinese government and
right.
Tencent with the whole Blitzchung situation.
Yep.
It's
I
a
mean,
big deal, but like, will it affect the creative direction of Bohemia? Maybe. One thing that I will say, Tencent has shown a very they're not like you said earlier, they own part of Epic. They also own you would think that, Ben, but kind of is. Um, they own part of Epic, but they also own Bluehole. So two of the biggest games in the battle royale genre, they own part of both of them, right? With Fortnite and
right.
PUBG, they're not
Yeah.
afraid. Or like another good example, having part ownership in Blizzard and also owning most of I forget the company that makes Path of Exile. I feel like a piece of
Trying to
shit now.
gear games.
Grinding Games. They're not
80%.
they are not afraid to publish competitors to their properties that they also have a stake in because
No.
if you play this or you play this, it doesn't matter. They're still getting your money.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I kind of agree with what Ben's saying is like, yeah, they're not going to bend their will, right? For
It's not a
5%. Except
it
except that 5% is like $330 million or some shit.
well, and
You
that
know what I
that
mean?
5%, there are other stakeholders in those companies as well, and that
Right.
5% is also like Tencent is a Chinese company, meaning that they are directly operating under the Chinese government. They have to
Right.
be. That is how China operates its businesses. They
Right.
are partly owned or mostly owned by the Chinese government. So if 5% is still enough for Tencent to say, you pissed us off, you can't sell our games in China. That is the world's second largest market for video games or third.
What is
They're
China?
either they're China.
Isn't it the first? It is the
It
first in mobile.
For mobile, it's the first, but for like mainstream games, like for what we do for the core audience, they're either second or third. They're either behind us and ahead of Japan or ahead of Japan. Um, it's fucking insane.
It
Yeah.
The
is.
fact.
Also, oh,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Just
You're good.
yeah.
I was just gonna say, the Chinese market can really have a big influence on games that we play and like live service games. For example, Ubisoft was going to go ahead and remove all blood from Rainbow Six Siege to market it in China, and then received huge backlash about it. And so they kind of pulled back, and I'm not sure what they ended up doing, if they ended up releasing a separate version of the game in China. But
It did for PUBG.
yeah,
Yeah, they're instead of blood, like people like it's
They wave to
blue.
you when they die.
Yeah, and it's
right.
like the fucking blood splatter is blue.
Yeah. So
It's
China is a
crazy.
huge factor for
Right.
game developers.
Also, something that's not on the script, but that happened this week, EA is buying one of the biggest mobile game companies in Glue. Um, I own shares in Glue, so I was super excited about this because it finally broke the $10 barrier that I've been waiting on. So that was fun. But yeah, EA is about to also have a huge mobile uh, market to
Yay.
their studios. So expect that
Perfect
in the
for them.
future.
10
The
EA.
purchase is supposed
It's
to yeah, the purchase is supposed to go through in June. I guess my overall point so I guess Ubisoft is not what wasn't what I was thinking of because oh, so Tencent wasn't trying to buy Ubisoft. Another company called Vivendi, Vivendi.
Vivendi.
Yeah. and I guess Tencent bought 5% in Ubisoft with an agreement that it can't that's a silent partner who cannot increase voting rights or ownership stake in Ubisoft. And they did something similar in Blizzard without the restrictions to help them not lose their company to Vivendi. I didn't know anything about that because I didn't pay attention to this shit. You know, I didn't really start looking at stonks and stuff until this past year. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like none of these companies individually could, if Tencent really wanted to buy them out, could compete with the cash that Tencent can bring to the table.
Yeah,
So it's
with
nice.
publicly traded companies, they're at a
Yeah,
disadvantage.
right. So, they also own 100% of Shark Mob, which is a new studio comprised of The Division, and Hitman devs.
Yep.
It's just crazy the amount of shit that they own. Um, so yeah, it's just I don't know. They worry me a little bit in the gaming industry. They're
Right.
fucking huge.
It's a big factor that can
Right.
affect how we enjoy our games.
The
So, okay, and the last thing we really had here was Stadia taking L's, boys, and they keep taking L's.
Another L.
Uh, and so many L's. Terraria was canceled on Stadia after the developer got locked out of his Google account and couldn't get his access back for over 3 weeks and kept
Oh,
getting the runaround.
and it's not just his private account; it's also
No,
like the Terraria YouTube account, like all
yeah,
that. He's locked out of
it's all
everything.
of it. It's everything,
Yikes.
and he was locked out with no reason given, from what he states. So, yeah, I don't like Stadia's already dying anyway, so it's not like this is a huge deal. But for people who still use Stadia, I would be mad, right? You know, and I saw that in some of the YouTube, or not YouTube, but Twitter comments on this thread that this guy made. I don't know who this guy is, right? He's not even checkmarked, which I thought was weird for being
Who
the
you
creator of
talking
one
about
of the
Demilogic?
yeah.
Yeah, he's like yeah.
But I thought it was weird because Terraria is a fairly large game at this
Mhm.
point, right? And pretty popular for a while. But anyways, um, it's just I don't know. It's other. I saw people mad that that was his response from being locked out of his stuff. But I understand. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why are you going to support a company that you can't even
It's like not even a
fucking get a reason why you're locked
controversial.
out?
It's not
Right.
even controversial for them to do that because Stadia's dead already. So it's
Right.
kind of like, well, doesn't
Well,
matter, so fuck you.
he straight up said that like Terraria is already on Android. So like they're not pulling the Android the Google Play version of Terraria. They'll continue to support it, they'll continue to update it. But he's like the other games that I'm working on, nope, they're not coming to Android now. He's
Hmm.
switching to iPhone. How petty is that? He's so mad. He already ordered a new iPhone. I looked at his Twitter earlier today.
Oh
I'm like, all
man.
right. I don't blame him though, but like, it's a little petty.
Sure.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. It's weird. I don't have Terraria on my phone. Honestly, if you wanted to really buy a game for your phone that's gonna like kill time, just buy fucking Stardew Valley and call it a day because it's on your phone. Or you can get KOTOR. There's so many other games you can get. So it's just like I think it's the issue is to Stadia. But if he's not gonna bring it to anything on Android, well, I mean whatever. Um, I don't know. I just want to go back to what Ben's saying here real quick about the Activision Blizzard revenue coming, 62% of it coming from America. I just would like to remind you that Rainbow Six Siege, which is an Ubisoft game, had to change some of their levels and some of the items in their levels because it was not accepted by the Chinese government.
Yeah. And also,
So,
if you think about that, so 62% of their revenue comes from North America, which means almost 40% of it doesn't, which is
yeah,
still a lot of
yeah.
money.
Like
So
there is a lot of Sony's done the same type of thing though in
yeah.
Japan.
Oh,
There's
and
there's censoring, right, that happens. I I don't think we notice as much because we don't really pay that much attention to that, but it does happen.
like
Right.
they've made changes to like this is more Activision, the Activision side of Activision Blizzard, but they have made significant changes to Call of Duty Mobile because they are just trying to get into that market. Now, again, that's mobile, but
Yeah. So I just the censorship is happening once again. I just don't think. I think didn't Mortal Kombat have some censorship when it came out, partially because of that. Because I know there
Wait,
was with like the
what
new costumes and stuff. Like
define when it came out. Are you talking about you said
most
Mortal Kombat,
recent
you talking
Mortal
about
Kombat.
11? Okay.
Yeah. Because
I don't
didn't they
know.
change the
I didn't
costumes for some of the female characters or whatever, and people were mad about it?
that wasn't the controversy. That wasn't due to China. The controversy with that was they were like, we don't need to show so much boob. It's a little unnecessary for a fighting game." And people
So
were like, "Yeah, but the boobs though."
so it's like Mass Effect
Oh
right
Yeah.
now.
man.
It's
Yeah.
But
like,
the butts. Oh, the butts.
if that's why you're playing the game, I mean, hey, that's why you're playing the game, but like that's not why I play video games.
I think this will be a conversation we have in the future probably is where like localization is fine, but where does localization end and censorship begin?
True. Yeah.
I think we'll see
Mm.
that
Well,
becoming an issue.
The Mortal Kombat thing was not, as far as I'm aware, not related to
I don't
localization. It was
remember.
just straight up like they're
I
like,
don't
"Yeah, we're gonna make minor changes." So like Katana's didn't like her entire midriff wasn't exposed this time. She wasn't wearing essentially a bikini. And people
Right.
were like, "Fuck that. Where's my bikini?" Like, you'll probably get it in DLC, I guess. I don't know.
You see what Ben just said? If Phasmophobia had jiggle physics, I'd never play anything else ever again.
I'm just picturing the
Oh
ghost
my
now.
god. Oh yeah.
That naked ass ghost that was in the bathroom last time we played.
Uh,
Oh
Or was
my
it a
God.
bedroom? It was in the bedroom. It was on the bed or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah. So I don't
Oh,
know. I
shit.
do, but I do, Justin. I think that is a nuanced point that I hadn't even thought about. I think as long as you keep it to localization, right? And if other countries are okay with it, right? Like America, we're all about the big old titties and shit. You know what I mean? Compared to like Japan, unless it's anime in Japan, then it's a whole different ball game. So I don't know. I just
I
it'll
was
be
gonna say,
interesting.
you don't think Japanese men are into big old bitties. You ain't watched enough anime.
I mean, they
if
got the ugly bastard movements that happen there and whatnot, and just
if anyone
there's
hasn't
so
seen
much.
enough anime, Tim, it's you, okay?
That's true.
And I've still seen enough to know.
Yeah, it's pretty well known how much they're
Oh,
into that.
Ugh.
Aye. Look, boys, hey, we got through all the topics.
we did it.
Oh,
Just
we
about
missed
on
one.
time.
We did miss one that Tim wanted to talk about.
Oh,
we?
yeah. So little footnote that apparently isn't a big deal.
Tim thinks it's a big deal. Justin and I do not.
CD Projekt Red got their source code for Cyberpunk, The Witcher 3, the other Witcher games, and Gwent all hacked, and it all got sold on the dark web for billions of fucking dollars. And
Ooh,
that
really?
could
Was it?
legitimately mean that they go in and then break the fuck out of the games. So
Rip.
it's fun. Rip
I-
CD Projekt.
I think what it is for Justin and I is
You have CD Projekt Red fatigue.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I get that. I get that. I don't. Well, like it's still a big deal in that like this is a major publisher that had a big enough security flaw that just fucking happened. Ben should have paid your Norton bill.
Oh my god. Did you see the readme that they left on their server?
Yep,
It's wild, man.
you have been epically pwned.
Oh.
Yeah.
They think it was so based on the language used in that note. It's speculated that it's a hacking group, a ransomware group known as Hello Kitty.
Oh yeah.
So it's yeah, and it's a really good thing that they patched out that fucking security flaw that malware could get into your system through mods, through save files that you could download from fucking Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a big deal, and we didn't talk about that because that just came out earlier this week, and then this happened. So it's a really good deal that they patched that out just in time for them to get hacked.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine if somebody hacked into CD Projekt servers and
I just
Yikes.
when I think about this, I think of like when Sony's gotten hacked or Microsoft's gotten hacked, and it's just like,
yeah,
that
that happened.
is
But
it a
like,
bigger deal? Should it be a bigger deal? Yeah, but I don't think the general public is just like, oh my god, You know
Well,
what I mean?
in
And
this
the
case,
Sony and Microsoft deals with your own personal information. You
well,
know what I
in
mean?
this case, I'm a little nervous because GOG has my payment information on file. So, like,
Mm.
I'm a little nervous about that because if their servers got hacked, they said that no customer data was stolen, but like, how the hell do I know? The game was also finished.
That's so true.
Ice
Like,
cold,
finished.
bro.
Yeah,
I'm
finished.
just saying, all right? Like,
That's
am I
fair.
wrong? Where is the lie? You tell me.
I mean, look, that's why
But
they
yeah,
can't promote their games anymore.
it's well, not until they put out something that's worth promoting. Like Cyberpunk's not at this point. Like I had fun with it. It's a decent game. It's not worth the risk of having your fucking system hijacked from downloading a saved file. What is the next bad piece of news that's going to come out for Cyberpunk? I regret ever cursing it.
Oh my god, yeah. This is the most extreme curse
It's all
you've
your
ever
fault,
laid
Tim.
down.
All I said is, but what if it's bad though? And here
Yeah,
we are.
and you didn't specify how bad. Jesus.
I didn't. I didn't put a floor on how low it could go. I'm so
Mm.
sorry.
Man,
But yeah, that's all I had for that. So
wasn't there something else that I wanted to add on to that?
yeah, you wanted to talk about Anthem.
Oh yeah,
How is
Anthem might close this week. Might
its
close it
fate?
down. They're supposed to make.
Their fate was supposed to be decided by today.
I don't. We probably won't hear anything about it till Monday.
Well, here's the thing on Anthem. Like we've talked about Anthem 2.0, Anthem Next. What I didn't realize until this week was that do you know how small that team that's working on the overhaul is?
No.
Oh, I'm sure it's tiny because they're all
It's
working on Dragon Age
30
4.
people.
Yeah, they don't care.
It's
That game's
30
dead.
people. Last month they took the guy who was in charge of it and they moved him over to Dragon Age because Casey Hudson and Mark, I forget his last name, left. And so like they never announced who was replacing the lead for Anthem Next. So they're like, yeah, it's gonna be better. We're gonna completely overhaul it. And then here we are, 29 people are having their fate decided today, probably.
Well, what they're probably gonna do is just take all 29 people and be like, you're working on Dragon Age now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're gonna get fired or anything, but it's just like the writing's been on the wall for that game for a while, which is unfortunate because, as I've said for a long time, I really liked flying around and being Iron Man. Thought it was fun. It's just everything else has sucked.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the moment-to-moment gameplay, the combat was fun. So, but I don't know.
We
Good
should
thing
mention that this report it's a rumor, right? It's a leaked report, but it's also from Jason Schreier, so
Yeah, probably true.
pretty credible.
Yep.
So, alrighty, boys. Well, any closing thoughts?
Uh,
Gonna make a boat in Valheim.
So you can get eaten by a sea serpent.
Mm-hmm.
play more Viking games.
Just fucking get Valheim. If you don't have it, buy it, download it, play it. You won't regret it. If you don't want to download it and play it because you don't believe us, just watch somebody else play it for a little while. You'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where it's just like, just one more thing. Just one more thing. It's almost like watching anime. Just one more episode. One more episode. Next thing you know, you've watched 2 seasons. Shit happens. Or Netflix. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. Nighty boys. That's it?
That's it.
Good?
That's what we got.
All righty. All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.